We've moved into the third wave of computing, from mainframes to client server, and now into the cloud. And the cloud has offered us a lot of benefits. We can access the resources of a data center at a fraction of the cost of building one for ourselves. We can get dedicated 24/7 teams to handle a lot of the security and the administrative tasks that we used to have to do. But is there a darker side to the cloud? Are there dangers that we need to be aware of if we're going to use the cloud? A truth that we need to acknowledge about the cloud is that the cloud is someone else's computer. And that means we need to understand exactly who that someone else is. Anyone offering us cloud services has complete control over the environment that we're connecting to. So they can run whatever code they want on those systems. And it'll depend on what they offer. So if they offer software as a service, platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service, it's going to be a different level of control that they have. Depending on what's being used, they can control the hardware, the software, or even the physical access to the buildings where those servers run. As more companies start offering apps as software as a service, it's worth taking a few moments to consider this, to weigh the benefits of using those services, and consider some of the cautions and controls that we can put into place so that we can get the benefits of the cloud without taking undue risks. Now, I'm not trying to be overly paranoid or promote some type of fear here, but it's important to make sure that we understand exactly what we're using and how we can protect our data. The cloud has many benefits and is for the foreseeable future likely to become a major aspect of all computing solutions that we develop. The benefits of cost, ease of use, service availability, and yes, even security that's part of the cloud are part of many of the solutions that are provided to us. We want these. We want to take advantage of all these. They're compelling benefits to using cloud computing. The caution that we must exercise comes into play as we begin to see more companies offering their own cloud solutions. Companies that may be niche players or unknown companies that invite us to connect to their cloud and use their solutions. I'll talk about some of the things that I recommend when I'm selecting a cloud provider in a moment. But the reason I wanted to make this video is that I had some concerns raised when I saw another YouTube video about a company that was offering crypto mining services as a cloud solution. And I don't know if I'd be comfortable with someone mining crypto for me at the best of times, especially on a system that I don't control at some undisclosed location. And I'm not a huge fan of crypto in general because of issues related to utility, but that's not a subject of this video. This cloud company that raised concerns for me seemed a little suspect. And while I don't know the people or the security of that particular company, the history of the CEO or the founder of that company was enough to raise some red flags. It made me question if I'd feel comfortable sending my personal information to that particular company. Long story short, they apparently had some past stealing credit card information before they started this crypto mining cloud service. So there you have a cloud service that is a little bit suspect. What should we do though? There must be some ways that we can use the cloud and minimize our risk. And there are. Here are some of the things that I recommend when selecting a cloud provider. First of all, are they an established company? Now, I tend towards using things like Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft's Azure Cloud Services, Google Cloud Services, and IBM Cloud. These companies, they've been around for a while, they have a lot of attention on them with some major companies using them, and they're really bound by a lot of laws in the countries where they operate. Can they be trusted? Well, I think they can at least be trusted more than some unknown company without a history. And I know that the larger established cloud providers are sort of dominating the space, and that's tough for somebody to come in if they're a small provider. Maybe they do have a quality product that is offering a niche solution. Maybe they have great solutions. But before I would consider any smaller company that has less of a track record or a history, I think I'd probably have to do even extra due diligence before I would place my trust in them. The second question I would ask of any potential cloud provider is, do they allow you to configure security policies and encrypt your data both in transit and at rest? If you're able to encrypt your data and hold and manage the certificates and the encryption keys yourself instead of having to entrust them to the cloud provider, then you have a level of protection against your data being read or used without your knowledge because it's encrypted. I have another video here on the channel where I talk about how to do this, and I'll link that at the end of the video. So you want to make sure that you can control security of your assets. The third thing I would ask of any potential cloud provider, are they transparent with their security and their information disclosure policies? Do they have exact procedures and tell you those exact procedures and policies of how they're protecting your data, including all the way to the physical and the network level security? This might seem like a dreaded end user license agreement that so many people just skip over, but if you're placing your company's IT infrastructure onto somebody else's environment, you need to be able to understand what those agreements are, and it is part of your due diligence to make sure that you understand exactly how they're going to handle your data in a secure manner. Especially, for example, if there is some sort of subpoena against your data, will they notify you that the subpoena has been issued? And again, if you have your data encrypted, there's a whole other story there, but just be aware that that is something you need to understand about any potential cloud provider. Now, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a level of risk with any solution we use, no matter where we consume the services. There's dangers on the mainframe, dangers in client server, and it's especially true that these risks are there for people who aren't really able to configure everything themselves. Maybe they can't afford to hire special security consultants. Maybe they don't have the experience and the skills with information security, so they can rely on trusted cloud partners in order to provide that security. What we can do is we can be selective with which companies we work with, whom we trust, and we can exercise control over the aspects of the security that we do have control for. I think it's really important to bear in mind that if you have something on premise, that still represents a risk from internal threats, and a compromised administrator password is a compromised administrator password no matter where it is. And the one thing about the cloud providers is they do have that 24/7 team that works on security issues. The question I'm looking at in this video is, can we trust the provider themselves? And that's going to be your own level of comfort with trusting the provider. And like I say, I think the bigger cloud providers probably have a little bit more scrutiny on them, so you could probably trust them a little bit more, but still encrypt your data and such. So if you want to see how you can encrypt your data, if you want to learn how to do that both at rest and transit, check out this video. I'll post it up somewhere here. I release 1 or 2 videos a week, so hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss them. Most of my videos are on learning and technology and how to use technology to learn and teach better, but this one was on security and the cloud.